What's going on, guys? We're officially streaming on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitch, on all the platforms. Back to doing my daily lives. I'm trying to get back into being more comfortable. For some reason, I feel like I kind of was out of touch with it, if you will, like with the whole YouTube and podcasting and everything. But yeah, we're back on. I'm actually going to be doing a podcast recording today, so I really should have something to drink, because I get thirsty when I do a podcast. So I'm actually going to go get a bottle of water. I will be right back. What's going on? I'm back. I'm officially back now. Needed some water because we're going to be doing a podcast, right? I know on the lag, it's going to seem like I'm gone and everything. I don't know how many people are there, but I feel nervous. It's been a long time since I feel like I've done live, like a podcast on live. I'm really going to get back into it, especially with the new year and like last year, me preaching consistency, doing things every single day. I really got to get back into doing things every single day. So I'm excited to be just doing this. I need pictures. So I'm gonna do some poses for thumbnails. Only because like for some reason I can't get the same picture that I can like when I'm recording, and they never do the exact same like they never get like the perfect thumbnail. You ever see like on Instagram when you're trying to like scroll through the videos, you never get the perfect thumbnail. So just taking pictures technically. I'm not really taking pictures, but if I stand still long enough, like I'll be able to at least scroll through it at the beginning to see like, no, there we go. Now we got it out the way. So let's get into doing this podcast, guys. I'm gonna be getting a new iPad. I promise. I promise I'm gonna be getting a new iPad. This one's all busted up and everything. I know. But anyway, you guys have been seeing like the progress and everything. I'm doing really good. Actually, quick note. So my brother and I were talking the other day, yesterday actually, right? And he was like, "Oh, he doesn't really get how I can go live consistently every single day." And I haven't been doing it for a while, but especially back when I was, is really when he was questioning it and everything. And I think of it like this, right? You guys see, and I see that I do not get a lot of viewers. I don't have any viewers right now. I don't think, But the difference is when I put content out there, right? I put content out and so much that people at least have some semblance or some idea of what it is that I do. And so when people have like some semblance or some idea of what it is that I do, they can now reach out for help. So while you don't see the effects of what it is that I'm doing, they're there because a client has come. I've gotten a client from Instagram, I've gotten a client from Facebook, and I'm really looking at moving and upping that, which is why I'm trying to get back and doing a lot more consistent content. Hence this. So we're gonna get into just doing this podcast. Like I said, 12 to 1 every single day is probably gonna be my new podcast. Like not my new podcast. I've had it in there for a while, but I'm really gonna aim hard because I've put it in my calendar at doing a live podcast from 12 to 1. So I call it, we'll probably think of it as a different name. It's still going to be a ULA thing because that's going to be like the overhead. It's going to be an ultimate live event, ultimate live experience. So I love this virtual background thing too. All right, let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to another wonderful episode of The Ramblings. I'm your host, Angela Roberts. Today we are co hostless, but we're back. And I say that we're back pretty often, right? But I just feel like I've been in a little hole, and not the hole where it's like a rut or something, but I've just been working. You guys know I go in like these little phases where it's just like I've really been digging in, like trying to work extra hard at doing a lot of things, right? So over the past like 30 days, we'll say, I have been really going hard, like super hard, man, like losing sleep kind of. And it's been a really cool journey for me. It's we've been making sales, we've been getting clients, we're starting to get referral partners now and everything. And so what I'm really concerned about, or not really concerned about, is me, because I feel like I'm not doing enough. And you guys hear this a lot from me, right? You guys always hear like, oh, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm not being consistent enough and everything. However, I can't be knocking on myself. And I'm really going to start taking like Gary Vee's advice in this particular sense, because I like I used to try to, when I would have like missing podcasts and you could see that like, oh, this was posted on November 18th and then this was posted on November 23rd. I would try and go to make podcasts to fill up those gaps. And so now, instead of making podcasts to fill up those gaps, I use those as a reminder to say, hey, I have to do better. I can't go back in and double and fill it up. In life, you can't go back and really fix your mistake. You can only live with it and kind of like work through it. And so I'm using these gaps, if you will, where I don't have podcast times, as a personal reminder and a vendetta against myself to say, hey, yeah, you can do better. You have to do better. And you've shown yourself to be consistent. You have to be able to go back to being consistent, right? So it's been like a personal battle for me, like in the mental state of like feeling like I'm just not doing enough and really trying to catch up to that. And so I'm really gonna like start not necessarily completely letting go, but I'm really going to start like giving myself that mental leeway, if you like to call it, give myself like that mental leeway to really just say, hey, you were focusing on things that were more important than doing the podcast right now. It's not like I was just lollygagging or doing Netflix or anything. I was working and doing things within the business. I'm talking to clients, I'm in networking meetings, I'm onboarding referral partners. And so it's not that I was wasting time. It's just during that particular time in my life, I had to prioritize doing something different, especially since it's just me. Now that I have a team coming up and everything, not like a full team, but I've outsourced some of the work. I have my own virtual assistant that we've hired in house now, kind of thing going, that is for me and Ben, and it's a lot different, And so I'm going to be really get back into doing content, because before, the only things I was doing were content, network marketing, and DoorDash. I wasn't focusing on how to like do it, going over processes or my flows or making sure that certain things were correct. I was strictly doing making content, going to networking meetings, trying to get clients. And as we start to end and get these processes that we've been going over like solidified, it's really been a great time to say, okay, I can go back to doing just content, focusing on getting clients and doing onboarding and things like that, right? So I've been just really trying to get back into the groove of doing these lives just like this. So that's why I have my little handy dandy iPad with my notes. I got a little pen thingy. It's has like a little disc on the top of it. It's pretty cool. So like I said, instead of going to reconcile like these podcasts, I'm just gonna bear through it. Let it be like my stinging reminder that, hey, you messed up. I messed up. And so it's my job to say, hey, I can go back and be consistent. So, but during this particular time, me and my co-founder Ben, as you guys know, we always do a lot of talking, right? But as of recently, we've been on the same page pretty often. And what I've really come to realize is I have not done the best job at providing disclosure for the harshness of business. Like, this is not something I should recommend. And I can see that now as it takes like personal effects in my life, um, primarily on like just relationships that I have, being able to maintain like friendships, relationships, and things, talking to regular people, what it is that I'm talking about. It's kind of complicated. Some water, I'm sorry. But the reason it's complicated is because I am so involved and in love and passionate about my work. That's all I want to talk about. I almost feel like I get like a withdrawal symptom when I'm not at my computer working. Like when I feel like I have an idea and I'm going and I'm working, I get so aggravated when I'm taken out of my zone because I just want to sit there and focus on work. And it's really become almost unhealthy, right? And so I'm trying to do a much better job at bringing balance, but as an entrepreneur, it's so hard to bring balance. And that's why I feel like I need to do a much better job at like probably thwarting people away from being a business owner. It's just extremely lonely, extremely hard. It's like this is an all day kind of process thing, right? Being an owner, a CEO, the boss, if you will, is a very time consuming thing because people think that it's only just going to different events. No, you have meetings, you have to make sure you're planning, you're the person who takes the blame for when things go wrong. You can't point the finger. The fingers are pointed to you when they go wrong, and when they're going right, they're pointed and distributed to everybody. At least that's how it's properly supposed to be going. And so the hard part is you're spending 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day trying to like make this particular thing work, and you're gonna like you don't want to burn out. And so being the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th dude on the team is almost just as beneficial. Like if we look at the DoorDash, the Stripe, these I said Stripe, the DoorDash, the Airbnbs, Stripe at the IPO soon, but they're still like worth $1 billion or something like that, right? The 10th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 20th dude didn't do as much work as what that first dude did. Number 20 at Airbnb did not do as much work as the very first 3, 4 founders like in Brian Chesky and them had to do. And they're probably pretty well freaking off. So whoever is in off source is the 13th, 14th, 15th dude in off source is going to be pretty freaking beneficial, but not have put in the exact same groundwork that I have put in. And so that is where the loneliness comes in because you're by yourself. No one else wants to put that work in. The 15th dude doesn't want to put in the number one work guy, but he's okay with that. And so I feel like I have to do a much better job at saying, hey, I think that there should be more 14th, 15th, and 16th guys. Because those are people that are also probably living their dream job, either making a great amount of money, doing something that they love, right? And when you're doing something that you love, it makes it less, it feels less like you're actually working. So for me, it's just, I've done a terrible job at saying, yo, don't be a business owner, because being a business owner is a hard, rigorous, painful, it's a, for a lack of better words, excuse my French, but it's a very shitty road to go down. And it's like, I liken it to like playing pro ball, right? If you were trying to go to the NFL, if you wanted to go to the NBA or anything of that nature, right? It's only but so many positions and spots, right? In business, there's not that same finite number of positions or spots or abilities or opportunities. And so it feels like there's a lot more opportunity, but most businesses fail. And I have to realize, and what I would like you guys to realize and me realizing it, is the same way that people can't all go to the NBA because they're not all NBA material, the same way that we would look at people on American Idol and say, your family lets you go up here? Your family said you can go up here and you can sing. And you're not cut out for that. So the same way people aren't cut out for pro sports, the same way people aren't cut out to be professional dancers and singers and actors and all of this stuff, some people are not cut out to be professional business people. It's the simple fact. And so being the 13th, 14th, 15th guy is extremely, extremely beneficial to those people because, hey, listen, you have a great job, great benefits, great pay, you're doing what you love, and you didn't have to risk any of that, turmoil and downturn, which is why it's not for everybody. It's extremely risky. And I highly warn against it. It's very hard for me to say that in an angry and like it's like LeBron James trying to warn you against. I'm not anyway comparing myself to LeBron James at all. No, I could never do that. But it's the idea of imagine LeBron James telling you, "Hey, you're probably not going to make it. This is very hard." It would you'd be like, "But bro, you did it. You yeah, but it's LeBron. Yeah, but it's Carmelo. Yeah, but it's Kobe. Yeah, but it's Michael Jordan." And not everyone possesses the same skill set. Now, if you're okay with being, injured reserve, practice squad, guess what? Those people are still in the NBA. Take D League and G League. People are getting paid to still play the sport that they love. And so when I think that we should focus on the process, as I've always said, and not necessarily the whole end goal. Because if you love the process, if you love playing basketball and you want to go to the NBA, right? But you end up in the G League, how like yeah, you didn't go to the NBA, but you are now in a position that you are making money, great money, 1%er money. You make 1%er money when you play in the D League. How is it that we can consider those people and accept their unhappiness because they didn't make it to the NBA? But we have to understand it's about the process. Not everyone is fit and cut out to be in the NBA, which is why they have D and G League. But you're still getting paid to play basketball. And that's like the important part. And so in business, you may not be the best business person, right? You don't have to be amazing, but can you be self-employed? Can you have a small side hustle? Can you put an extra $500-600 in your pocket? You do not like that's where business, is a large differentiator. There's a much larger scale in which people own, in the NBA, in the D League, in the G League, in overseas basketball, there are officially only but so many basketball teams that someone could play for. Like in the theoretical things, if you were to take every NBA, every other, country basketball team and put them all in a chart, you would have a X amount of chances in any of these leagues, teams, whatever. In business, that scale is much smaller. I'm sorry, not smaller, much larger because the increments are much smaller. You can make $500 a month. You making $500 a month isn't going to put anybody out of business or take away from anybody. You making $1,000 a month isn't taking away from anybody else. It's not snatching food out somebody's mouth. But it's there. You understand? Like in the NBA, in the D League, G League, they don't have, well, you're not good enough to be in the D League, so we're going to put you in, a paid intramural league. No, they don't have that. But in business, you don't have to fully go into it. You can be self-employed. You can have a side hustle. You can have these small gigs, which is really one of the biggest things that drew me to business. You can succeed in your own small lane. An extra $500, $600, $700 a month would help a lot of people. And so my thing is, I want people to go chase after their dreams. What is it that you would like to? What is it that you like to do? And find a way to do that. And it's hard for me to bash on entrepreneurship, even though I really am right now trying to warn people up against it because of this thing I love called the internet, right? The internet has absolutely changed the game. Like before, you wouldn't have been able to do most of the things that we're able to do now. The barriers to entry are a lot lower and in some cases non-existent. And it allows for a lot more people to take advantage of a lot more opportunities, find more opportunities, and just have self-improvement. Between Google and YouTube, you have almost as much information at your fingertips as humanly possible between just two search engines owned by the same people. Google owns YouTube, and YouTube being a search engine, which who would have thought, is the second largest search engine in the entire world, second only to Google, but they're also owned by Google. So, hey, who would have figured? So, with this thing called the internet, there are so many different ways to get internet money. Podcasting, YouTubing, you could be a brand, like taking your leverage and leveraging your popularity on these platforms is how a lot of people are able to also make money. If you have a consistent viewership of 50 to 100 people, why not make a podcast? Those people that listen to, like, you're not taking away from anyone else's listening time, because people only listen to us so much in a day, and they're going to listen to everything. Like when new artists come out, do we stop listening to old artists? No, we still have them in our rotation. We just add the song to our rotation. Our rotation now gets a little bit longer. We may listen to it in two different parts, but it's still going to get listened to. It's not taking away. And because the internet allows for people to have what I've seen as a positive sum value, not a zero sum value in which like nobody benefit, like one person benefits and one person negatively is affected. Whereas in this particular case, it is one person is positively affected and nobody else is negatively affected. And so the internet has increased and masked that particular opportunity for people to have something without taking away from other people. And it's just beautiful. I absolutely love it. Um, I've been doing a lot of things, especially during this particular time on the internet. And growing up in this particular era, it's been almost like a little blessing to be 23 on the cusp of all this technology, have grown up with it and be able to access and work it, and have been privileged enough to actively even have a computer in the house when we were young. So like all of these things play, but what are you going to do? You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to be a business owner, but you're gonna have to do something. And so I think what I'm going to start doing is showing people how more to get to those somethings that it is that they want to do. Because it's just different for me, Like you could be an affiliate marketer, a brand rep, Instagram model, like I said, podcasters, so many different opportunities to make money on the internet, all at a such low cost. Like I started off source with the laptop that I had, and that was it. Literally, I had a laptop. That was it. That's how I started this business, with a laptop. And not even a new laptop. It was a laptop that I got as a hand-me-down in college. Like it wasn't even new when I first got it. You feel me? My brother was in trouble and he had just gotten it. And my mom was like, you know what? You're not going to have it. And I got it. I was like, oh, crap. It wasn't new when he got it either. But feel me? I got almost like a double handed down laptop kind of thing. And I had used that, at the end of high school, beginning of college, and all throughout my college years. I didn't graduate yet. So don't think it's like, oh, yeah. But while I was at Gateway and everything, you guys know my story. That's what I was using. I was using my laptop and that's how I got the business started. I was taking my car, driving out to like as far as like New York, Enfield, Greenwich, Stanford, going for these networking meetings to really trying to like drum up business, get clients. You guys know that I was quitting my job. I did DoorDash like on the side to like make ends meet and everything. And it's offered so much only because I was able to have the internet. Like I kept it super cheap. I was I had like 4 burner emails already. So I was just like free trialing it up until I could get like a client to pay for like a month of like a service or something that I needed. I know that I needed at least like $100 every single month for business. That's, I think, was what I needed like originally every single month. Not counting like my internet. But yeah, so it was like $35 for Zoho. I wasn't even paying for Zoom. That was before the pandemic too. So there was no need for Zoom. We were going in person, but I was paying for like gas and stuff to get there. I didn't even have a membership. I was like really just trying to bounce around to different places, like to get the free trials for the networking meetings and everything. And it was a lot, you know, but the internet has the ability to offer your services. When you I think that one of the big things that I want to do, especially that I think about in terms of like not necessarily charity or philanthropy, but just giving back. You know, I feel like the reason I want to be so wealthy is so I can give back to my community to show people what opportunities are available and what they have. And so one of the big things is skills, hobbies. What can you learn? Like the reason I'm able to do all of this is because as a kid, we had a computer in the house and I was able to just play around on the computer all day. I made my first website when I was like 11. I was on webs.com and my website was called nickthecreator.com. Wild, like bogusly wild. I don't even remember what it was, but it was basically like talk about games. So I think it was like a forum or something. I don't even know. I just put a bunch of stuff there, like a video section, like forum chat kind of thing. I had no idea really what I was doing, but I put it together and the knowledge stuck with me. And like my dad says, when you do something, that knowledge sticks with you. No one can take that away from you, right? I want people to have hobbies. I want people to learn skills, learn things on the internet, learn how to trade, learn how to do web hosting, learn how to do web design, learn how to do graphic design, learn a skill that you can offer as a service. Because when you have a skill, it's usually much cheaper than learning, like trying to build a product or get like inventory and stuff together. It like you can do like a $20 Udemy class, maybe take a free class if they have them over at your local college. YouTube is a hell of a fucking, excuse my French, is a hell of a tool. So I think there's so many opportunities out there with the internet that it's just, I think at least a side hustle, you know, but using the internet to your advantage to even get to the jobs that you want. Like Gary Vee says, you know, doing the DMs. If you do 50 cold DMs a day, I'm sure you're going to land somebody, you know? And if not, like, I think that if we thought in terms of like, oh, I'm trying to get this one person, like before you think about getting one person, are you willing to do 2,000 DMs? Like, let's just like, if people looked at it on a mathematical scale, right? People think, oh, I only need one yes. And they chase that one yes, right? But what I do is I almost look at it a little bit differently. I say, yes, I need one yes, right? But what is the likelihood of me getting this one yes? 1 in 1,000? So I need to get 1,000 no's before I get one yes. Do you have the mental capacity to get 999 no's? Not knowing you had to go through 999 no's, just arbitrarily, like, oh, it's some random number, but think of a large number, right? So I think of business like this, or at least in my business. There is only but so many people that we can talk to. I can only talk to but so many people in a day. So I have to optimize the amount of people that I'm talking to, right? So if you are optimizing your time, you're going to optimize your results. It's that simple almost. I have to go through 1,000 no's in order to get to a yes. So if I can optimize every single no, I am more likely to get to a yes sooner. What does it mean to optimize a no? When you get a no, why did somebody say no? Make improvements based on why somebody said no, but make sure you take it with a grain of salt. We talked about understanding who is saying no. Why did this person say no? Sometimes it's not you, it's not the product, it's not the service, it's just not for them, right? And so if it's not for them, that no doesn't count. You need 1,000 no's that count, which means you're probably going to end up with like 1,500 no's because 500 of the no's aren't going to count. So you need to optimize your no's. Why are you getting a no? Because think of it like this. If you are getting no's because these no's don't matter, that means you need to focus on people whose no's matter. Because the more no's you get that matter, the more likely you are to now be able to optimize and make changes necessary to get a yes. It's about optimization, guys. Oh my gosh. I have been chatting and talking. I did not expect this. I didn't even stay on things. This is why we call it the ramblings. But yeah. Speaking of, I've been sending out mugs to people on Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, Assistance HQ at like everywhere except for TikTok, which is your favorite CEO, at your favorite CEO on TikTok. But yeah, if you guys want a mug, hit me up on Twitter. I'll send you guys a mug. But I've been sending out mugs to people I've been connected with on Twitter because I just feel like, why not? It's free branding. Why not have, if they take a picture of their coffee and the coffee has, my logo on it. That's cool. I'm cool with that. But it's the end of the year. I want to focus. Shift gears. Whew. Full 180 shift real quick. Let me get a drink of water. Right, so check it. It's the end of the year. As we reach the end of the year, it's been absolutely wild and crazy what's been going on. And I want to reflect for a hot second because I want to save like the juicy bits of this for, the end of the year podcast. But where I was this time last year versus where I am right now. And I didn't think I'd be here, but I love where I'm at. It's not what I projected, but I love the process so much and I'm happy for where I'm at. And so in a nutshell, last year, this time, I thought in 2020, I am going to get at least one client a month that pays me $1,000. And that's not going to be a lot of money. And I projected that by the end of the year, I would only have made $12,000. But come the next year, those 12 clients would be $12,000 a month. Do you see what one client a month that stays on board. And then at the end of the year, I have at least 12 clients that pay $1,000 each. And I have $12,000 a month. That was the plan. Where I'm at is I have serviced 12, 13, 14, 15 clients, have not done the 12,000 in business revenue, raised 100,000 and have a salary of 1,500, but we have money to really push and grow. And I kept my expenses small. So I'm going to get into a lot of that like at a different time of the podcast, but that's really what the gist is right now. That's where I was and that's where I'm at, right? And so it just makes things, it really puts things in perspective when I put it like that, right? Like last night, I went to sleep at like 2 something, woke up 7 something to make sure I was ready for a networking meeting. And I love it. That is the life that I had wanted. It's not perfect, but it's because I love the process that I'm so happy. And so what I'm really trying to do is push more happiness for you guys. Because I want you guys to be happy. I want you guys to enjoy your process because I take real pride. I take real comfort in having at least a plan. It may not be the best plan. It may not even work. I may have to have a backup plan. But I take comfort in knowing that I have a roadmap going somewhere. And I just kind of want to share that same feeling.